I know that there's some things you want to clear up and some things you want to address about the first video that we made. So can you do that now, please?
Okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to address the issue where I use the phrase hillbillies and rednecks. I do not mean to use those phrases in a disparaging manner towards anybody. You know, when you read the book, you're going to fall in love with the hillbilly or redneck characters. I guarantee you. The characters are darlings. You know, you would think a black person writing about rednecks would make, yeah, there's some really good people in my book. You know, I don't turn them out to be bad people. And the second thing is, I want to address this directly to T.I. and Tameka. Your four sons, Messiah, Damani, King, and Major, I write about them in my book, and I did not, and I do not have your permission to do so. I want to say to you and everybody else who I talk about in my book, where I use your actual names, your characters, there is nothing in this book that says that's negative about any one of you. You're all portrayed in a positive, good light. Now, mind you, that the characters are filled with action. There's some things in the book that make you go, wow, oh my God. And I'm gonna take a chance and I'm gonna read a scene about your son King. And I think you will enjoy it. So let me set the scene up. There's this family called the Storm family. They've been in West Virginia since before West Virginia became a state. They live on Storm Mountain and the surrounding two mountains. It's a clan of 5 families, all Storms. There's Stephen Storm. Stephen Storm is the family patriarch. There was Granny Storm, but in the first book, Granny Storm passed away. So Stephen Storm is the family patriarch. And then he has Tanner Storm, and then there's Bean Storm, and there's other Storm members, but these are the main ones that I'm going to refer to in what I'm about to read. Now, Steve Harvey is in the first book. And if I'm going to give something away that I shouldn't, but I need to in order for you to understand what I'm about to do. Steve Harvey is no longer the talk show host and the guy from Family Feud. In the first book, my family, Steve Harvey, is the governor of West Virginia. He attends, wow, look at that beautiful black butterfly. Anyway, Steve Harvey attends the inauguration of Messiah Harris, who is the mayor of Atlanta. Messiah is back in Atlanta, and while he's attending the inauguration, he invites Tip and Tameka to come to West Virginia and visit. He says, like, you guys got to come and see how beautiful it is. Charleston is an absolutely wonderful place to visit. Later on, they take him up on his invitation. And when they do, King Harris, excuse me, I got the names mixed up. King Harris meets this young lady, Millie Storm. They're the same age. I think they're 16 years old in my book. I'm not certain. They're 16 years old. So King and Millie meet up, and he takes a liking to her. They take walks in the woods, and, they ride on their 4-wheelers and the mountain bikes or whatever kids do. They go hunting with guns and things like that. So on their second visit, there's a birthday party for Stephen Storm and Tanner Storm. And it's about 150 people that are gathered. I'll say it when I'm reading. And now understand, these people are rednecks and they never had really too many encounters with blacks. But what happened was, on the first visit, Tip and Tameka was so blown away by everything, the majesty of it. Tip gave Tanner and Stephen Storm $1 million, and he said, build me what you have here. And they built Tip and Tameka a beautiful log cabin nestled by a lake, overlooking a lake. It was a river, overlooking a rivulet that runs through the property. Tip and Tameka fell in love with it. So now we're on that second visit back to the mountain, because the place is finished and everything is done fine, and Millie and King meet up. So here's the part where Millie and King meet up. Now, understand this. When they built the mansion for Tip and Tameka, Stephen and Tanner built Tip a man cave, and Tip calls it the Bat Cave, and they built Tameka a she lair. So let's go to that part. While Tip and the boys enjoyed the Bat Cave and Tameka, Eris, and Leia chilled out in her she-lab, Craig and Deja sat on the front porch of their cabin looking out at the river. Is it always this peaceful, she asked. Now I know why everyone wanted to get back here. It was nice of you to stop by and see us, Craig. We missed you. He responded, I miss you too. Millie pulled up with King and she got out of the truck to meet his sisters and greet everyone. The next day, the ride up the mountain to the Storm family pavilion went in silence as everyone enjoyed the views of the creek and the deer and the hidden lake, which they called the pond. When they arrived, they were greeted by Darius and his family. Now remember in the first book, Darius started a lawyer? He's a black attorney. When they arrived, they were greeted by Darius and his family, Craig, Jermaine, and his 3 foster children, and his daughter Mia, which was her husband, Stephen Jr. Total, it may have been 300 family and friends gathered for Tanner and Stephen Sr.'s birthday. King and Millie had taken a walk on the trail before they knew it, they were at their favorite spot where they first kissed. The resident mountain lion, Jojo, was bitten by a rabid raccoon. He wandered closer to the Storm family retreat than ever before. On their way back from their walk, Millie and King froze in their tracks when Jojo stepped out from behind the tree and lumbered towards them, foaming from his mouth. Millie pulled a 12-inch hunting knife from her waist and signaled to King to stand still. Jojo stared them down for a few seconds, then slowly approached. Millie knew he had bad intentions. She told King, see that big stick off to your right? When I scream at him, pick it up and stretch out your arms and scream. Jojo hurried towards Millie, lunging. She sidesteps him, slashing his nose with her blade. He then recovered and turned back on her, knocking her down, sending the blade flying out of her hand. King walloped Jojo's lion-sized testicles with the stick before he could claw Millie, and he retreated for a few seconds, and when Millie rolled on her side, kicking him backwards. When Jojo was sure he could, he jumped on top of her and tried to pin her down. King, out of fright for Millie, picked up the 12-inch hunting knife and began to stab Jojo in his neck with ferocity. When they walked towards the pavilion with their bloody clothes, the music and merrymaking stopped. Everyone rushed towards them. Bean, Millie's father, asked, what happened to you? Millie said, Jojo attacked me. I tried to fight him off, but he was rabid, and King had to kill him with my knife before he killed me. Must have been bit by something that had the rabies. Tip asked, who the heck is Jojo? Millie and King were taken to the big house to wash and change clothes with Tameka, while Tip went to see Jojo. He said, wow, my son is the Lion King. This I didn't expect. Tanner, Bean, Steven were commenting on the blows that King delivered to Jojo. Tip said, I didn't know there were any mountain lions around. Bean said, not anymore. Killed King the only one on the mountain. It's a shame. But if he was rabid, he had to go. Let's cut off his tail for King and bury him. Tomorrow we gotta set traps to see what gave him rabies. After the bonfire, everyone listened as Millie and King told of their encounter with Jojo. Someone asked King, weren't you scared? He answered, I don't know. I was only thinking of saving my girl. Tip said to Tameka, somebody should write a movie about this. Bean stood next to King, raised his arm and said, all hail the Lion King! Tanner said, come on, Stephen, Bean, Tip. I want to show your family something. They walked a few minutes into the woods to see what was one of the most beautiful and elaborate tree houses ever built. It was 3 stories up in the trees and was accessed by either a rope ladder or a weighted pulley elevator. It had 2 large bedrooms with half baths operated the old-fashioned way, a water tower somewhere. It had a large living room and an eating kitchen and a wood-burning stove to cook on and to bake in. There was nothing electrical and the windows were polished. Tameka fell in love and Tip was in awe. Tanner said, this is Stephen's, but we have ours on our own land. Tameka said, I want one. Bean said, your son saved my daughter's life. And while they were talking, we're gonna build you one for free. Naturally, we're gonna use your wood. It'll be built by early next spring. We're gonna let Millie oversee the design and construction. It'll be her first project. Time she did something bigger than what she's been doing, building furniture and dog houses. Of course, we're gonna guide her. At home, they were sitting around when Tip said to Major, son, what can I expect from you? Are you gonna come up with a cure of cancer? Tameka said, no, my baby's gonna be the president. Major said, no, I'm not gonna cure cancer or be the president. When the time is right and I'm ready, I'm going to outer space, maybe even Mars. Which reminds me, I won 1,000 shares of SpaceX for my birthday. Everyone looked at him amazed. What I want to say to Tip and Tameka, I did something with your sons, and I really hope you don't mind. I was told by someone that I should have asked your permission because this is something that you might not want to have done. But understand this. I'm doing something that no one has ever done before. I'm writing about actual people in their lives. I know that you have these lives that you live with all of the celebrity, but I'm doing this with you and your family, T.I., because you're a man of good moral character. And you may not remember this, but I met you one time in St. Louis, Missouri, when you were having trouble, and you had did a community service, and you came to a juvenile detention center. The night before you came, I had prepared the young men at the center to ask you 2 questions. After you gave your little spiel, I said to you, excuse me, before you left, I said, excuse me, the kids have something that they want to ask you. And then you said to the kids, go ahead, ask me. And then one of the kids, he asked you, he said, are you a philanthropist? And do you know what a BMW is? And your response was, yes, I am a philanthropist. But no, I do not know what a BMW stands for. Please tell me. And the young man said, Bavarian Motor Works. And your response was, you see, with all that I have and all that I am, I still can learn from someone like you. T.I. Tip, when you said that, you floored me. I was never really a fan of yours before that, but from that moment on, I said to myself, he's the real deal. You touched me in a manner unlike anything ever before. When you said what you said to those young men, I know that you put something in their hearts. You made them feel some kind of way about themselves. You said to them, with all that I am and all that I have, I still can learn something from somebody like you. I know that made an impression, even if it made an impression on only one of them, I know that made an impression on me. I want to thank you. And I want you to know, T.I., Tameka, all of your kids, Scrappy. I want to say something to Scrappy also. I give you a gift in my book, in the second book. I give you a gift for the youth that's unlike anything. I guarantee you, when you read what I wrote and this thing that I did with you in my book, you're going to say in your heart, you know what, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And if you don't do it, I guarantee you somebody else is going to do it. It's like this beautiful, wonderful gift for the youth. I also want to go back on the scene. If anybody watched the first video where Scrappy encounters the serial killer, Esteban. And Esteban pulls out his ice pick and him and Scrappy fought, and Scrappy beats him down. I just want to give you guys a tease. Esteban escapes from custody. At first, he was stalking Scrappy's girl, but now Esteban is stalking Mama D. And unfortunately for Esteban, Mama D ain't no joke. And Esteban enters into the wrong house. And boy, oh boy, you gotta read what happens to Esteban. Hoo-wee. Mama D is Mama D got it going on. So that's all I have to say for now. I hope you guys enjoy my work. The name of my books are My Family and My Family Too. Thank you again. My name is Daryl Johnson. You can reach me at johnsondarryl741@gmail. JOHNSONDARRYL @gmail.com. Thanks, Xavier.